All right, what's going on, everybody? So we are finally getting started on a project that I've been putting off for years, as most people do with these old legacies. It's the leaking sunroof. So this thing has been leaking since I've owned it. I had it duct taped and all kinds of different ways to keep it from getting in the cabin, but it always has been a problem. So today I'm going to finally address it. We've done this on a few other cars, and it's actually not that big of a deal. It's a pretty easy job. It doesn't take that long, but you do run the risk of breaking your interior plastics because we need to get all that down. We need to drop the headliner in order to get the unit out the top, because it's one big assembly that we're going to take down. So we need to get all of these trim pieces out, the A, B, and C pillars, take all of this stuff down so we can actually get the headliner off. And then on a wagon, it actually should be pretty easy because we can just take the entire unit out the back. Where as a sedan, it gets a little tricky to get it out the back door, because this whole unit is one big piece all the way to back about here. So today we're going to get started on this and hopefully finally reseal this thing for good. Alright, so we're going to start here on the inside. First thing, we need to get all these trim panels off. Start taking down all this stuff. Pull out this rag for good. These B pillars, I'm going to start with these B pillars because you need to get these off to get these off because they kind of overlap. And this one's on top of this one. So you can also start towards the back. They all kind of overlap right there. And wagon to sedan, this is going to be pretty much the same, except for like the trim you have to take off in the back. But we got a couple of these little clips. Pop these guys out. We'll take this cover off. There's some bolts in here. Take those off. You pop these out. This is all like Phillips screws and stuff. Take all these out. Just slowly start picking away at all these old trim pieces. So you're going to want to get yourself some of these trim pride tools. This is just a cheap Amazon kit I got. It has a bunch of these. Because you can see all these plastic panels want to break because there's clips back here, right there behind them. So you want to try to pry as close as you can to these clips so this doesn't break. This is why I've procrastinated doing this so long, because all these plastics are super hard to find and brittle. So just gonna have to take my time slowly to get these behind here, slowly work these clips out. So this thing's working perfect. I can just kind of get in behind here and get the clips out without breaking it, just like that. I can't believe I actually got that out without breaking any of them. So I might have to glue this section here. It's just so brittle. So you can see on this A pillar, it's a little weird. Like there's a metal clip in here, and then there's also this metal clip that's in here, and they kind of clip together. So yeah, not fun to get them out without breaking. I'm trying to put these back in so when it goes on, it'll actually clip on. I don't know how I got all these off without breaking any of them. That is insane. Okay, so got all the trim out. So now we're just working on all the little plugs and pop this cover off and get these screws out for the light back here. All the little Phillips screws for the oh shit handles. And slowly getting everything down. Then the last thing will be these clips that hold the actual headliner up. See, it's already loose. Okay, so we pulled the headliner out. Just got to disconnect the drains right there. Right here, just pulled those little rubber hoses off. We need to start getting these bolts off here. We're going to take this entire assembly out. I'm pretty sure we need to actually wind it open to get this part out from underneath the lip of the roof. And so there's that guy right there. Takes the Allen key and we'll unroll it and move it back. Okay, everything's disconnected, wiring, all that. We just have one more bolt here and in the back, so it's gonna take two of us to lift it down, and we'll put it on that little stand out there in the back. Okay, so we got it sitting out here. So we need to start taking out all these bolts, because the part we're going to be resealing is this track. This metal track here separates from the lower half. So you can see they're going to take off all these Phillips screws. You can see where somebody tried to reseal this before, and it obviously did not work. So we'll have to take all the ones off we can get from here, and then crank the window forward so we can get to the ones in the back. And then this should separate the rails from the actual housing, and then that's the part we can reseal. Okay, so we got these back bolts off. Somebody really covered this thing in glue. So this is where all your trim tools come in handy. I already kind of broke this one, but somebody already re-glued this, so it's really stuck on here. And so we're just trying to use a razor blade and just slowly separate these without trying to bend these tracks too much. Just slowly work it until you get all the RTV unstuck. So using a heat gun really helps. We got this side separated and this side on both of them. So now we need to move it back, but in order to move it back, we have to put these brackets back on, because that holds the cable in there. So we'll put those back on, then we can crank it back, try to get this center section separated. Okay, so we finally got it separated. We just kind of tilted the back end up and left the cables attached, because I'm not really sure how to take those apart. So now we get to scrape all of this RTV off on both sides, try to get it as clean as possible before we put our new stuff on. Okay, so I've been scraping away at this thing. I think I pretty much got all the RTV off. Most of your guys won't look this bad, because this has been redone I think twice before. So like the metal is all wavy right here from it getting peeled off a bunch of times, and so I had to use this roll-off wheel to get all of it off, and I took a bunch of the paint off with it. But a lot of this was already bare metal, like a lot of this. So somebody did this before. So I think I'm just gonna, quickly just spray with some paint, a little bit of Rust-Oleum, just to keep it from rusting before I put my RTV down. But I'm gonna try to bend some of this back, because this whole thing's like a piece of bacon. So kind of sucks, but it's looking pretty good. This is the worst part about this job, is just getting all the RTV off. But the OEM stuff's really not overkill, and it's not as hard to get off as whatever somebody put on this thing. Alright, this is looking pretty good. Just put a quick little spray paint on there. Just some Rust-Oleum to prevent it from rusting. So it's going to dry flat black. See, it's pretty wet and starting to dry flat black, but you're never going to see it. It's just this thing is steel, so I don't want it to rust. Alright, so we're going to use Permatex, the right stuff, because I never want to have to do this again. So this stuff dries fast and should seal anything. So we're going to basically run a real thick bead across this entire track. I'm going to use a lot, probably more than I need, because my tracks are really bent, and I want to make sure all these gaps get filled up. And then we'll kind of smooth out the channel where the water runs once it's on there. Okay, so we filled that with RTV. I smoothed this side out, kind of like that, so I get a nice thick chunk. And then we're filling these in with RTV, because I'm getting rid of that flappy thing. So you're gonna have to wind deflector, whatever, and just fill that up with RTV and kind of block it off so water doesn't get there. You have a low spot. Okay, so we just laid it down, start putting these bolts in. To try to actually mount it and try to build up the RTV on top of it right here. There's still kind of a gap underneath this tray and in there, because it's all kind of bent and wavy, and so basically now we need to move the sunroof across the track so we can lay another bead of RTV in here and smooth it out and make that seam, because this is your actual water passage right through here. So you can see we got these. Just kind of smoothed it out, but you can't really get to the ones over here, so gonna see where we stopped there. So we're gonna make another bead, just seal this entire track. Okay, so we just made a nice dam, basically sealing the entire track to the tray on both sides. And you kind of have to build up some and kind of make a dam in a few spots, mainly here in the back. This one got kind of fucked up, but this one's a lot better. So you can see you kind of have to make a big buildup of RTV so to keep the water from going into the actual track right there. So this is mostly dry already. It's pretty hard, but that'll just push the water out the drain and not let it get in there. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Now it's just reassembly. So it's just throw it back in the car. You know, put their headliner back in. This would be a good opportunity to do a custom headliner, which I might do. But that's pretty much all you need to know about doing a sunroof. Now it's just physically putting it back in there, bolting all this in, plugging it all back in exactly as you did before. So we're just going to end the video there. And if I end up getting a custom headliner, I'll show you guys that. Maybe put that in a separate video, but yeah, that's going to do it. So I hope you guys get your sunroofs resealed and you're not getting rained on anymore. So thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.